Hey everybody, Kevin Duffy here of MassLive.com, joined by Mark Daniels of the Providence Journal. We just witnessed a pretty ugly 20-10 Patriots loss today, and then after that we witnessed Denver holding on with the help of Peyton Manning returning, of course, because it has to be dramatic as possible. And so Denver clinches the 1 seed, the Patriots drop to the 2, which 2 weeks ago seemed pretty unlikely, but now here we are. Mark, what do you look at now as we're going into the playoffs?
I have to say that I've come out of these last 6 weeks pretty pessimistic with the Patriots, and I know there's an overriding sense that they're going to get all these players back and they're going to be healthy in 2 weeks. But Patriots finished the season with a 2-4 record, which is the worst 6-game stretch under Bill Belichick, tied with 2002. They went 2-4 in a 6-game stretch in 2000. So this type of run doesn't really happen. You can point to the injuries. However, I'd also like to point out that the Patriots actually, they played with almost less people in a sense. They didn't play with McCourty, Patrick Chung, Danny Amendola at the Jets, who were a better team, and they played better. They got McCourty, Chung back. They got Amendola back. He was limited. They actually looked worse. Their secondary looked worse. The team as a whole, the offense looked worse. Robert Gronkowski barely did anything. Keyshawn Martin was shut down. Brendan LaFell has been non-existent. It's kind of a worry with the playoffs 2 weeks away.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Fine.
Respectfully disagree. I think that if you look at the state of the AFC and we watch the Denver game, I mean, Denver's not good.
No.
They really struggle offensively.
They did beat the Patriots, though.
They did. I think with a healthy Patriots team, when Julian Edelman comes back, it's going to change the dynamic of that offense. And with Amendola healthy, basically what we're seeing is they've changed the way they play offense without those two guys. They're going a lot of two tight end sets. They're not spreading the field, and the flaws on the offensive line, which will be helped if Sebastian Vollmer comes back in the playoffs, have been kind of exposed because Brady hasn't had that quick hit passing game where he can just get it out to Edelman, holding the ball 1.6 seconds or whatever it is. So they're going to get back to more of that, and that's really part of why the offense was rolling so much early in the season. So I am a little concerned because even with Vollmer back, the offensive line play has really been not good. That would be my only major concern. I think it's sitting Hightower today, even though they take the loss, was the right move in my opinion. He gets 20 or 21 days in between games to get that knee right, and that's huge for them. All these guys who are banged up, these aren't season-ending injuries. These guys will be back, so I still think they're the best team in the AFC. And I will add that I think even with the 2nd seed, it kind of works out favorably because they're going to dodge Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is the 6, so Pittsburgh would automatically play the 1 if they were to advance to the 2nd round. So maybe I'm just kind of taking the optimist view here, but I think there are some things that there's reason to be optimistic about.
Yeah, I mean, you could hope so. And one thing about the offensive line, which is worrisome, is the effect it's having on the run game. Now, the Pats without LeGarrette Blount and Deion Lewis are completely different in terms of what they can do with running backs. That being said, the holes that these guys are getting, they're not really there. And when they are there, I don't know if Steven Jackson, Brandon Bolden really have that zip to hit them with such force that they're actually going to have, a constant, 4 yards a carry type game. And that's kind of worrisome. I mean, you put a lot of pressure on Tom Brady, and today he had statistically probably one of the worst games he's had in a while.
Probably in his career, I would say.
It's an interesting thing right now because typically with the Patriots they struggle at the beginning of the season. We saw it last year. Week 4 against Kansas City, it looked atrocious. If you kind of go through the history of Bill Belichick's teams here, it's kind of normal. 1-2, 2-2, 3-3 to start the season. It's so rare to have what's happening now. Finish off the season with 2 straight losses. It's kind of uncharted waters, so to speak.
It is. I'll add on the run game. I think Deion Lewis getting hurt was a big deal, and we've talked about it at length. I think he's the only guy of that group that could turn a play that wasn't blocked very well into a 7 or 8 yard gain. I don't even think Blount really did it that much, so I don't know if Blount to Steven Jackson is even that much of a drop off. I think in the playoffs, if they're going to win throwing the ball.
Right.
I don't think they're going to be running like they did today in the first half, 15 times to 2 throws. I don't think there's any opponent that they're going to take that approach with in the playoffs. So looking ahead to the playoffs now, the 3 potential teams they could play are Cincinnati, the 3 seed. If Cincinnati beats Pittsburgh, is the 3-6 game. Cincy automatically comes to New England.
Yep.
Or if Pittsburgh wins that game, they would play the winner of the 4 or 5, which is Kansas City at Houston. So
Right.
which of those teams, if you're the Patriots, would scare you most?
Scare you most out of the teams you can play? You know what? I'm going to go with Cincinnati, even with the quarterback situation being iffy, just because their defense. Also, today the secondary did not look great at all. They let up, I think it was 350 yards passing to Ryan Tannehill. And with Cincy, you're talking A.J. Green and Marvin Jones and Tyler Eifert and guys like that. And their running game is real strong too, with Jeremy Hill and Giovanni Bernard. Their defensive line scares the crap out of me. They're a really talented bunch. They can get to the quarterback in a hurry. You can sort of say the same thing about Kansas City. Offensively, they just scare me less. Houston,
Yeah.
I think everyone in New England is rooting for the Texans to win and
And then
come.
Pittsburgh to win
Yeah.
too. So yeah, Houston is pretty much a bye. I mean, Houston can't play with them. We saw that in Week 14. Kansas City, I haven't seen much of, but they've won 10 games in a row, so they must be pretty damn good right
Yeah.
now. I would tend to agree with you that I would still be most scared of Cincinnati, just because I think Cincinnati is the most talented team of that group. And if they get Dalton back, I know they don't have any type of playoff history, but that definitely is a team that has talent. And